You're listening to Those Dram Yinzers with your hosts, John and Zach.
Hey everyone, I'm John.
And I'm Zach.
And welcome to Those Dram Yinzers, where we drink whiskey
And talk about it.
For everything Those Dram Yinzers, be sure to visit thosedramyinzers.com. You can find our social media links, our Patreon page, the order form for our TDY hats, and a link to Zach's favorite site.
John, are you talking about dram.threadless.com?
Why, yes, Zach, I am.
Oh, John, it's such a great site. You can buy all kinds of cool stuff there, like shirts and sweatshirts and more. There's so much more that I can't even rattle it off the top of my head right now. I guess you'll have to go on the website to find out what it is. And while you're there, you may as well buy something. I'm just saying.
Because everybody needs clothes.
You sure do, especially if you want to go to your favorite distillery. I hear they still make you wear shirts to get in.
They do, yeah.
Except maybe some places in like the deep woods of West Virginia. Then they might require you to lose the shirt to get in.
True.
In all seriousness, it's a pretty dope site, and I highly recommend anyone who has a particular interest or need for clothing to check it out. Even if you're a nudist, it would probably look nice in a frame.
If you're interested in sponsoring the show, want us to do an ad for your product, or would like us to try your product on the show, send us a DM or an email. Well, Zach, should we get drinking?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, so this is a pretty big episode. This is
kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal. This is our 4-year anniversary show.
Oh, John, happy anniversary, bubby.
And happy birthday to you.
Well, thanks, bud.
Just happens to coincide on the same day.
I'm okay with that.
So 4 years. I mean, COVID kind of slashed that a little bit, but still, 4 years we've been doing this, man.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun.
It has.
I'm excited to see what the next 4 years holds.
I asked for listener questions from members of the PWF. Only 2 amazing people answer. Ask
Guys,
questions.
I'm not saying that I'm mad. I'm just disappointed.
We'll get to those a little later, but there was a couple good ones on there. Well, there were only 2 on there, but they're both really good.
2 is a couple.
Well, yeah,
right?
We'll get to
3 is a few is 3 or more.
So we'll get to those questions here a little later because it's our 4-year, and I've seen this with other podcasts when they hit that 4-year mark.
Right.
4 years in the whiskey world will sometimes coincide with a specific labeling you'll see on bottles, which is bottled in bond. And we're going to talk about what that is, what characteristics the whiskey has to have. We're going to try to on the show today. One of the characteristics is it has to be aged for at least 4 years. A lot of whiskey podcasts will do some sort of like bottled in bond, whatever, for their 4-year show or whatnot. So we got 2 bottled bonds we're going to try here in a minute. I want to point out the card you gave me or you made me for my birthday, even though you forgot the Z.
I forgot the Z in Yinzer.
But it's a beautiful design, and it could honestly be a future, like, those Dram Yinzer like whiskey label. Yeah. But you did you called it bottled in bond, bottled in brotherhood, which works because, I mean,
we're fraternity brothers.
Yeah, that, and you're pretty much my brother anyway.
Exactly. Fraternity notwithstanding.
I like that one. So that logo might be dropping. We're going to correctly spell Yinzer, Zachary.
I don't care, John.
Don't you? Like part of the editing process for like...
No, that's why we hire proofreaders.
Anyway.
I mean, technically, yes, I should have caught it. Technically.
But yeah,
it's spelled right when it's up on the shop.
So yeah, look for that image to be dropping soon. So I looked up, not that I had to look up, but I always like to I second guess myself with my knowledge all the time. So I wanted to definitely have
it's called being a millennial,
basically. So bottled in bond, what does that mean? Distilleries were having in the 1800s a lot of issues with bootleggers and other,
questionable
distillery thing of them distilling non-whiskey spirits,
or
clear spirits,
or poor quality whiskey,
adding tints and colors and
caramel,
sometimes illegal, like,
dangerous to ingest.
dangerous toxins and stuff into it. And
Actually forced quite a few reputable distillers out of business
yeah, so
because it was so cheap, because it wasn't real whiskey.
in 1897, they passed the Bottled and Bond Act. Basically, it gave the consumer like, hey, this is legit. It's okay to buy this. We're not like going to kill you, basically. It allowed the distilleries to slap this label on their bottles for their whiskeys. And 3 of the characteristics that it needs to have. The spirit needs to be produced in a single distillation season by a single distillery. So in the spring or the fall. So spring, they constitute it as a January to June, fall, July to December, single distillation season, not like one time through the still, single distillation season, and only one distillery. So you can't like take
be jumping
a
around.
Distillate from this distillery and distillate from this one. That don't work.
It's all got to be done in house.
The spirit must be matured in a U.S. bonded warehouse for a minimum of 4 years. So not all rick houses, barrel houses are bonded. They have to, it's another label that the government can give them. Anyway.
Right.
And lastly, the spirit must be 50% ABV, so 100 proof.
100 proof.
So those things are all guaranteed when you see Bottled and Bond on bottles. Now, again, just like most labels and other fancy terms that are used, does Bottled and Bond automatically mean it's going to be good? No, but you know, for those listeners that don't know already, what that means and what you're actually getting when you see that on a
It's not to an old proud tradition amongst whiskey distillers. It's been around for over 100 years.
Mm-hmm. And the first one we're going to try, we actually, I think there's a lot of serendipity happening with the 2 that we're going to try today.
Indeed.
The first one has a couple layers to it. 1, we both absolutely love this whiskey. 2, we've done it already on the show very early on that first year.
Yep.
And 3, the person this bottle is named after had a hand in creating the Bottled and Bond Act. And the first one we're going to try tonight is E.H. Taylor Small Batch.
You know that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Really quick, I do want to give a quick
do your thing.
Citing of the source to where we got our information from for the.
Oh yeah, sorry. My article was from Food and Wine. Sorry.
Okay. And then where I pulled my information from was from an article on bourbonbanter.com written by Melissa Alexander. Cite your sources, kids.
Mm-hmm. So why don't you go ahead?
We've already gorgeous to the E.H. Taylor.
Yeah, we don't need to do. I don't think either of these really need the whole gambit. This is more just like, let's drink some Bottled and Bond.
Yeah.
Let's BS. Let's reminisce over 4 years, and
this is your bébé.
I don't have. I mean, Zach can attest this, and you can probably take a picture of this later. I don't have much left in here, and the nice thing about having the tube that the bottle comes in is it hides how much you actually have.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been hiding this because it is insane to get this in PA anymore.
Yep.
So I've been waiting till I get another one to empty it. I don't want to be not having it
until the planets align.
Honestly, if this was still readily available in PA, this would be my number one go-to whiskey.
Oh, 100%.
Hands down. I would take this over double oaked, Woodford double oaked.
Yeah, I would too.
But because I can't find this, I kind of take it out of the equation when people ask me that question all the time. I figured, if I am going to finish it, 4 years with you, a great time to finish.
You're going to make me blush. I'm getting all weepy. This is, though, seriously so good. And cheers, brother. Thank you for sharing this treat with me.
I don't kill too many bottles because I have so many, and B, I'm bouncing all over the place. I never stick to one enough to actually kill a bottle.
I'm not going to kill this bottle.
If
anyone's going to kill this bottle, it's going to be John.
Like I said, we're not doing any crazy reviews on this. We already gave a review on this. Look back, one of the very first couple episodes. We did this bottle already. So if you want to hear a full review, go back and do that.
Oh, that's just so good. It's like Concord grapes on the nose, like
cinnamon,
the green Concord grapes.
It's just
cinnamon comes straight through in the palate.
It's a really good bottle.
I get a little pear on the nose too. A little bit.
Yeah. I did find this. I said this to you before we started recording. I did find this. Not in PA. It was when we were in at the beach in Delaware earlier this year.
Delaware.
I found it at it's not a state run liquor stores are not state run in Delaware, privatized. Found one, was behind the case, locked case, the whole thing. And I was like, oh, all right, let me grab this. Now here it's 35, 40. I think it's gone up.
If you can find it.
Right, if you can find it in PA. So I saw a 5. I'm like, okay. I saw a 0. And I was like, okay, I'd pay 50. And I was like, why does this look weird? And I wasn't looking at the right angle. And as soon as I slid over a side, $500. Now, this is a great whiskey. I would never pay $500 for this. That is literal robbery.
For shame.
I'd pay 50.
I'd pay 50.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be. I can't say I wouldn't be happy about it.
I'd pay 60 for double oak.
Because I'd have Colonel Taylor at the end of the day. So, yeah, I'd be happy about it. But 500 is...
No, I don't think there's any whiskeys really at this point in my enthusiast career that I would spend $500 on.
None that I've come across that my bank account could justify.
Right.
Dropping a cool 500 bones.
Mm-hmm. Well, that too.
I'd love to be able to say I could do that. But it would have to be like a whiskey that was found on a pirate ship and there's only one bottle of it.
I think the other bit I like with this is the fact that it doesn't taste 100 proof to me. That or my tolerance is too high, and
our
someone could come in and be like,
gone up. It's so funny because I think about when we were first starting versus now, and our tolerance with higher proofs and things like that. And it's funny because I'll go and I'll order a whiskey, get it neat at a bar or a restaurant or something, and if I'm out with like friends or my wife or anybody, and I'm like, oh, you guys want to try this? And so many times I get like, hairspray. Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because I remember when I would have said the same thing, but now it's, we're going over. I blame Bobby and Aaron for this. We go in there and we're like, what is this? 110? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't need ice.
No, I'm good. Let's go. Or the first episode we did with Christian.
Yeah.
At Pennsylvania Libations, and he pulled out the 115.
Yep, and we were just like, whoa. Now that's one of my lower proofs at my bar. Or maybe I shouldn't say lower proofs. It's smack in the middle now, though. I don't have anything as high proof as Bobby does, but
no, not as much.
Not as much of it, at least. No, I don't have anything that's like 160.
Oh, I stand corrected. The third person has asked a question.
Oh, hot damn. We've officially gone from a couple to a few.
But yeah,
such a good whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
It's just pleasant. Got a beautiful color. It's got nice long legs. It's got a great hug. It doesn't burn. It's got a warming sensation that lingers.
Yeah. Like when I think bourbon, this.
Oh yeah, quintessential.
Like like double oaked. Yes, love double oaked, but it's a fit. I mean, would you characterize double oaked as a finished whiskey? Because it's put in a second barrel,
right? It's an interesting question.
But when we talk,
I don't know,
regular,
single barrel.
Not single barrel, but like. Aged once.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And this, I know we love our makers. I know we love Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is made by Buffalo, but this, if you had all three in front of me, this would be the one I'd go for.
I understand that. But yeah, no, there's no dissing anybody else. I mean, I've been perfectly happy with all the beverages we've tried. I'm a fan of all of them. And you know me, I'm a ride or die Liberty Pole boy. So I mean,
well, yeah,
but
well, that didn't take long. About I don't even think we hit the 20-minute mark yet.
Well, you've got. I should point out. John's got two tables. One table has 3 shelves, and then he's got 4 milk crates full of whiskey behind the bar here, and then he's got more under the bar that I can't even see from where I'm sitting. One of the milk crates is just Liberty Pole.
And it doesn't even fit. It's not even all their stuff.
And it's not even all the stuff. But
because I ran out of room.
So yeah, I was going to bring them up. I'm looking. They're right at my eye level. They're looking very, very tasty. But all I have to say, I gotta say though, like this Taylor, if I was able to get it, this would be
I would multiple
regular.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have like 3 or 4 at my bar at all times because I'd want to have one to drink. I'd want to have one to drink like for just me. I'd have one to drink with friends, and then I'd have one that I'd inevitably end up giving away to one of the friends after we drank it together.
Normally, when people come over and want to drink whiskey, I mean, I've said it to you multiple times. If we're upstairs hanging out and you want to come down and get something, you have the run of the mill. Right. But a lot of the time, I don't let anyone, I said, you can have anything at the bar except the Taylor.
You're darn
Only because, I mean, it's,
I don't even know if there's like a finger left.
No.
Maybe a skinny man's finger, little man's finger, little baby pinky finger.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
while we're finger, it's getting awkward.
While we're enjoying this, I'm going to ask Earl asked a pretty thought-provoking question. I read it earlier today, and I've been thinking about it all day, and I still don't know if I have an answer yet. But
and you're going to drop this on me now?
Yeah, while we're enjoying this.
Okay.
Ready?
Hit me with it.
So Earl asked, if you could go back in time and talk to your early selves on day 1 of the podcast, what advice would you give yourself about the podcast? Yeah.
Wow.
Earl coming in here with the hard-hitting question.
Dang.
That's why I'm asking it now and not later when we're tipsy.
Well, Earl, thank you for your question, sir.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question. I honestly think a couple things that I would tell my earlier self would be, number 1, don't be so nervous. You're having fun with it. You're drinking and talking about drinking, for crying out loud. It should be fun. Don't be so like, And the other thing I would tell myself is, maybe don't be so afraid of a camera, because now we're starting to film ourselves for like the Patreon and stuff like that.
Yeah, my phone's dead tonight. Sorry,
no, it's fine. You guys should still sign up for Patreon, but you're not getting anything out of it this week. I just remember that first episode, we were like sitting next to each other like 2 first graders on their first day on the bus.
Huddled
around one mic. Like it was like the last dying embers of a fire in a Siberian winter.
Mm-hmm. It was my brother has it now, but it was one of the Yeti mics.
Mm-hmm. And we had the camera in front of us, and we were just like,
mm-hmm. So the camera died.
The camera died, and we were just like, what are we doing?
I should see if I can find that SIM card.
Yeah, you should. How much younger will we look?
Right.
Because that's 4 years ago, but 2 of those years was COVID. So 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Or Aaron, like Aaron said, 12 years ago.
Yeah, 12 years.
But I think my advice to myself would be, don't be so nervous. Speak louder for John. Be open to the journey. At this point now, I'm not afraid to try any new whiskeys. But at the beginning of the journey, I know that if someone came up to me and they were like, we're doing a scotch, I'd be like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was even like tentative about ryes and stuff like that. Now at this point, I'm just kind of like, let's try it. Let's give it a go. Let's try it. And I just kind of would have wanted to be more adventurous at the beginning.
I'd probably go a bit more technical with my advice to myself. I would say, forget the USB mics, go with the XLRs and spend the money. Like, get the nicer stuff. Don't worry about doing it on a budget. Get the nicer stuff. I mean, we've learned a lot through that. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things, like, I don't regret how we did it, but like, if Earl's asking, so I'm gonna, I don't want to not give an answer and be like, nothing. But I would have a little bit more technical, like, skip the USBs. You're gonna give yourself a headache. Just do the XLR mics. You know what I mean?
Right.
Do your research into that now and spend the money on them.
Right.
And then also just be ready.
Yeah.
Be ready, because I mean, we say it all the time when we're meeting new people at festivals and such, is like, when we started, it was just you and me wanting to learn and documenting the process. And then the history, the local distilleries, just the group just fell into our laps before the first episode even dropped. And it's just been we don't have crazy numbers, crazy download. I mean, we've surpassed 6,000 downloads. So that's fun.
That's fun.
But crazy downloads, but like the support and the love that we're getting from the local whiskey community, especially all the local distilleries, which we're going to hit on one here in a minute.
Yeah, we are. Ow, ow.
It's been awesome. I would just say, just get ready. It's going to get fun, you know?
Oh, yeah. It always gets more fun when you drink, though, doesn't it?
So let me ask you this question then.
Yes.
Let me pour a little bit more of this. All right, finish it.
But John, I can't do that.
Finish it. I'm literally telling you to finish
him. Little Mortal Kombat reference for all you 90s babies and 80s babies out there.
I'll have you take a bottle kill picture later.
And I.
So if you had to pick, I don't even know my own answer. This is just me off the fly. If you had to pick one moment from the past 4 years that's been your favorite specific moment, what would it be?
I'm going to get made fun of for my answer. Feel like me such a fucking fanboy.
I knew you were going to go this route. Go ahead.
When we tried the unreleased beta of the Spiced Rye at Liberty Pole was very cool because I've never been, before that, we had never been included in a process in that way. Mm-hmm. We had never had an unreleased whiskey before. Mm-hmm. We had never had a whiskey that they weren't even sure they were gonna release before. And just having talked with Ellen about how she got so much feedback from the community, but then she also said us specifically as well, you know, I heard what you guys said about this, and it helped to push me over the edge into putting it into production. I just have a slightly unhealthy attachment to that whiskey now, but I just have really enjoyed seeing the journey of it and us being able to be part of the journey of that from pre-bottling.
Yeah.
Drinking it out of a glass twist-off flask-sized taster bottle with a piece of masking tape on front that says Beta. Didn't even have the name of Tinker Tom or Mama Huff's Holiday Whiskey for those of you who want to give it the proper name. So for me, that was just such a cool moment because it's one that I've gotten to witness grow over the course of the show.
And I think I had a feeling that was going to be, because that's definitely up there for me, but I had a feeling that's where you were going to go with, which is why I let you go first. But also, that's a good one to bring up because we haven't really been given an official date yet, but right about when this comes out, they're either going to be dropping batch 5 or batch 5 is coming out very soon after this episode. So, you know, if you haven't ordered it because it's already dropped or it's about to drop, get your bottles. Batch 5 is going to be absolutely insane.
Absolutely insane. They just continue to impress. What's yours, John?
I know. I'm trying to. Whiskey Fest 21.
That was fun.
I mean, it was the first time we got to be there at a booth. It wasn't our first fest, but it was the first time we got to be there at a booth, and the love from fans, new fans, random, patrons that were there, that were bringing up. I mean, you look back, you're probably like, I probably shouldn't drink stuff. People just brought it over to me. But anyway, they could have but the amount of people that brought us stuff to our table, like, here, you got to try this. You got to try this, That was just such a really, like I said, we've been to a couple festivals before that, but that was just on another level.
That was really
and we'd
cool.
been to that before, but not at a booth.
Right.
The 19 one was fun, too. That was when we vlogged, but
right.
I think 21 topped that.
21 was a great night.
So probably why I wasn't as impressed with this year's. Because 21, I mean, it was hard. It's always hard to top your first.
You never forget your first.
And, yeah, I don't know. I just did that. I think that would be, if I had to pick something different than what you're saying, I'd say that one.
I would agree. And honestly, it's funny because I was between what you just said and the Spiced Rye.
Your answer.
Because that was the first night I remember walking around and getting stopped by people saying, Dram Yenzers. love the show. People that we hadn't met yet.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, do you remember at the Elks Lodge very early on when we went to the tasting that they did with Mark from
Podcast?
No. I mean, he has a podcast, but that's not the name of it. I'm blanking. I'll think of it later. And we were up on stage talking to him, and I don't remember who it was, but a listener came up. That was like the first time like someone came up to us and was like, "I really love the show. Like, keep doing what you're doing. Like, I just want to introduce myself and say hi." Like, that's so cool too.
So cool.
You know. But
it's just nice to know that people are having fun with it, because that's like why we're doing this. Is it's just like we just want people to learn with us, grow with us, educate, and then when we do learn and grow, we want to then pass that on as education and also just like have fun with it. It's just so fun. There doesn't need to be any pretense with it. It can just be an enjoyable experience. And I hope that we're doing it that way.
And then just the love from local distilleries.
Oh, my goodness.
Obviously, we've already mentioned Liberty Pole, and they have been nothing but generous, nothing but huge supporters since day one. Unbeknownst to us, day one, they were listening from the start, and we didn't know until Jim messaged us with answering the question. But any other, I mean, from Liberty Pole to Eric from Stolen Wolf, just like dropping that bottle on us randomly. You know,
I still have that bottle at home.
Oh, I would. Even if you killed that bottle, I wouldn't throw it. I
wouldn't throw that bottle away. That was the first bottle that we'd ever been given.
And I mean, I'd get him to sign it.
I'd like to,
but we'll meet him. We'll meet him again. I mean, to the support that Christian has given us and still gives us. You know, when I reach out to do private tastings with friends, he's like, "Yep, let's do it. Come on, come down." You know,
to everyone in Pittsburgh whiskey friends.
Oh yeah, I mean the
like
group.
That's the entire Pittsburgh whiskey community.
I mean, Aaron, come on, man. I mean, he is our producer.
Odin the All-Father.
We would not have the setup. We would not have the stock. We would not have the episodes if it wasn't for him. I mean, he is our producer.
Goodness gracious,
hands down.
He's given us so much
executive
content.
Producer. Let's give him that credit.
Yeah, executive producer. He's the lowest paid executive producer in America.
No, he pays us.
But he has all our love.
And all the distilleries that we've met in PA and again, our focus of why we did this has shifted, because there's no point in us competing with the whiskey podcast from Tennessee, from Kentucky. There's no point in that. There's enough of them out there. There's some amazing podcasts out there that do really good reviews on all that stuff from down there.
It's just like whiskey, right? You can't ever have too many podcasts.
But no, and local ones have been featured on other podcasts, other YouTube shows, right? But no one. I'm tooting our own horn. Toot, toot.
Toot, toot, mother trucker.
No one is solely focused on local like us, local whiskey.
To the extent that we are, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we got our buddy over at Fermented Adventure who does also support, but he supports breweries, wine. He does the whole gambit. He covers all of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
But no one does it, and I think because what we're doing, because we're trying to get their names out there, I mean, they don't need our help. They got some amazing PR and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But if we can help in any way, shape, or form,
even
just to steer people towards their direction, and just realize, I mean, just in the past 4 years, how much it's grown.
Yeah.
Not us, but local craft distilleries in PA. Like,
it's been a treat being able to watch it.
To toast to that aspect of the show. No, we're not doing Liberty Pole.
No.
They don't have Bottle and Bond yet, but it better be coming. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But we got it. But somebody we haven't talked about nearly enough, I don't think.
Who gives us just as much love, but he's on the other side of the state.
Sorry, buddy.
If he was close.
Proud of you guys for kicking the Cowboys' ass.
If he was close, though, we would be there just as much.
Oh, just
we would
as
be
much.
there just as much as Liberty Pole. But
we are, of course, talking about
our buddy Herman from Dad's Hat.
Herman.
Nothing but love from this man. I mean, I was very sad. And they're all sold out. But this is the things you miss when you're not on Facebook. is
Don't make me get back on Facebook.
We being Pittsburgh whiskey friends had a single barrel pick with Dad's Hat. Recently, I was supposed to go. I had to back out. Sadly, couldn't go out there. But the way Aaron talks about it, he just said, Herman would have kept them there all weekend trying barrels. When you usually do these barrel programs, they'll like pre-select the ones and say like, here, you can try from these 3 or these 4. He said Herman just kept bringing barrel after barrel after barrel after barrel.
I might get in trouble for this, but he's like an old Italian mother. It's just more.
Mm-hmm. So, Aaron said that was the best single barrel like selection experience he's ever had. And they've done the group has done so much where they've ones that have had things shipped to them, ones where they've gone to distilleries, and he was like, this was the best experience. So in honor of the love we've had from PA, in honor of our love, our unknowing love at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. And now undying love.
Yes, basically. We are going to be also drinking Dad's Hat, bottled in bond, of course, from 2021.
Straight rye whiskey. That'll put some hair in your chest. Mm-hmm. Seriously, if you look up the definition of generous soul, just see Herman's picture underneath.
Basically, yep.
I had some of the 21 last night or the other night, and I am excited to be having it again because I was walking. It was late. Kids were in bed. I was like, all right, I just want to have a little something, unwind a little bit, relax. Was moseying past the wet bar, and I looked. I was just like, it's a Dad's Hat kind of night. So I poured a little bit of the 21.
This nose is just
a happy boy.
We had this one at Whiskey Fest 21. That's where this bottle I have is from. I think we've told the story, but at the end of the night, Herman was like, well, it seems like a waste to just drag this back to drag this back home. And he dropped the bottle on our table. So that's what this bottle is.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. On the palate, you get that great pepper. I got to say, if you like a peppery rye, you are going to love Dad's Hat because Dad's Hat has got some great black pepper notes on it. But this has got nutmeg. It's got a little bit of cinnamon. It's got a little apricot. It's so good. It's so good.
The malt that you get on the nose and the palate is just top notch. Like the perfect amount of malt needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If Colonel Taylor is my favorite bottled and bond bourbon, Dad's Hat is my favorite bottled and bond rye.
Yeah. This is, we said this last year at the Whiskey Fest. This is my favorite thing he's produced.
Oh, it's
thus far.
Thus far, this is the one to top. This has been just spectacular. If anybody said to me, I don't like rye whiskeys, I'd be like, try this and tell me you don't like rye whiskeys.
And the bottle you were talking about that you have?
Yeah.
He dropped it on the table this year at the festival.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get a chance to talk to him because we were both
Generous
so busy.
Soul, Herman. And oh my gosh, I can't wait for the day when we can finally freaking get our asses out there. My goodness, it's going to be the Valhalla of whiskey.
All right, so let's go with the second question. This one's from our buddy Rob Sinclair in the group. I don't know if you're not on Facebook, so you wouldn't have seen the ads. So I don't know if you'd have seen the ads on Instagram or any of the other ones you're on. But Rob asked, what do you think about Arby's coming out with that smoked bourbon?
Excuse me?
Yep. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up on the computer. Hold on.
I'm reserving judgment because this is the whole point of the show. Not the whole point of the show, but one of the things that's become, a point of the show is that you leave your pretenses behind and, you know, it's like my mother would always say, you got to try it at least once. But I don't know about that. I just don't.
So it's bourbon whiskey finished with American oak staves. So kind of like how Makers does their like select program.
Yeah.
American oak staves that have been smoked with hickory, mesquite, and pecan smoke.
Well, basically, that sounds delicious.
It's what they smoke their meats with. They smoked the staves with, and then stuck it in a.
All I'm going to say is, first of all, I am intrigued.
I've bought worse gimmick whiskey. There is a brown sugar bourbon down there that we're going to be trying soon.
Oh, goody!
I've bought worse gimmicky whiskeys.
Yeah.
Here's what I would love to do with this one. I think it's actually sold out, but
balls.
Because someone was saying they gave away a rocks glass that either had the logo on it or was like in the shape of the hat. Anyway, here's why I would want to try this. I don't need a full bottle. I just need a sample. We have 2 smoked bourbons down there. One from Southern Tier, one from Wiggle down at the bottom shelf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would love to do a side by side of the 3 of those. Because then it's smoked bourbon, so it's not like the peated bourbon or the peat finished bourbon. You know what I mean? It's different.
No.
But
it's not absorbing the flavors from the peat.
I don't know if I would spend an entire... I mean...
I'd go halvesies on a bottle with you.
Like, I have a brown sugar bourbon under there. I have a Kirkland bourbon. I have a couple gimmicky ones that I'm like, oh, this would be funny to try on the show. And then we try 2 little sips of it, and then it just sits here. So I don't need a whole bottle of this. I just need a nice little 2-ounce sample that you and I can use on a side by side.
You know what's throwing me off? They got the freaking Arby's hat on the logo.
Yeah.
I get why it's Arby's. But it's like, if I take a drink of this and it tastes like Arby's sauce, I'm going to be really upset.
Did you? So if we're talking gimmicky whiskeys, just because I saw the little ad thing come up again, but someone, I'm gonna wait till you finish drinking because I know you're not gonna want to spit that out. Someone is making crab whiskey.
Excuse?
Yeah, they are.
Say more now.
Taking I forget where they're from, but they're taking crabs. Boiling them.
The seafood.
Yes.
Okay. Not the STD.
The seafood. No. And they're boiling crabs, and to cook them basically. And then they're taking that water and infusing whiskey with this water. I can't even tell it without laughing because it just sounds so ridiculous.
Okay, somebody was high. No. So you're telling me somebody walked down to South Street Seaport in New York.
I don't know if it's in New York, but
took a deep whiff of that fishy, salty air and said, you know what I want to make my whiskey with?
It's New Hampshire distillery.
This.
Here you go. The Crab Trapper. Green crab flavored whiskey.
No.
There's a lot of flavored whiskeys out there. I mean, there's a lot more now. I follow a bunch of accounts because PA doesn't get a lot of stuff. You know there's a cookie dough whiskey?
I did not, but I would try that.
Yeah, I would try it too. There's a bunch of new flavor, new versions, people wanting to be the next Screwball, basically, or the next Fireball.
This is not it. Why would you show me that cute little dude? It's like this little man died for your whiskey. It's like, what is that? Like a shot with a cork?
It
looks like a little boop.
It's a 4-year-old bourbon steeped with 90 pounds of green crabs and seasoned with spices reminiscent of a low country boil. See, sometimes it's fun. I mean, I wish you would know about this beforehand, but it's also fun seeing your reaction. Anyway.
I'm just going to go ahead and quote one of Pittsburgh's own, Jeff Goldblum, by saying, your scientists were so busy wondering whether or not they could that they never stop to ask if they should. I think that applies to crab whiskey.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, again, I feel like I could pick Dad's Hat out in a blind lineup very easily.
I think so too. They have a very unique pepper.
Pepper and the malt. The malt just sticks out. I mean, PA whiskey has a distinct flavor to it in general.
Yeah.
But the maltiness on the Dad's Hat, like remember when, this is another great memory, right? When we got invited to go to the blending ceremony of the 10-year anniversary of the Whiskey Rebellion Fest.
Yes.
They did that, blended whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
7 distilleries. Dad's Hat, Herman was one of them. Then they put it in a used Dad's Hat barrel for 2 months. 7 equal amounts of 7 different distilleries went into this, barrel, and Herman's notes stuck out still to me.
They sing.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I find that with a lot of our distilleries too. I mean, Herman has a very distinct flavor. Love it or hate it, Wiggle has a very distinct flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Liberty Pole has a very distinct undertone throughout their whiskeys, I think. And I'm just so excited that they're like Dad's Hat. Yeah, you can pick out a Dad's Hat, but you're not mad about it.
Mm-hmm.
You pick it out for all the right reasons.
So the last question we got on here, the one that came on while we started, it's from John Globerts. He said, and this is why I pull up Breaking Bourbon's site. What's your top 3 anticipated bourbons? What is your top 3 anticipated bourbon of the year? I'm not sure if he's asking, like, what do we think the top 3 bourbons are going to be of the year, or what's our top 3 that we're looking forward to.
Gotcha.
He says bourbon. I'm going to expand it a bit because I am excited to try the 22 version of the Dad's Hat Bottled and Bond.
I am too. I would put down the 22 version of Dad's Hat Bottled and Bond. I put down the 5th batch of the Tinker Tom. Obviously.
Well, yeah. So I'm not as up. I mean, we kind of said it earlier. We're doing more. Focusing a lot more on local.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not as up on what's coming in the rest of the whiskey world. What is that face for? What did you see on the site?
The Jack Daniel's Bonded.
Oh yeah,
just talking.
That's
about
just the new year.
Just talking about our bottled and bond.
Yeah. But one I want to get my hands on. I don't think it's in PA. Stellum.
Okay.
It's the same people that do Barrel, right?
Yeah.
They came out with, and this is just from my math brain, a Fibonacci blend. Fibonacci sequence is a math sequence.
Yeah.
Right, where the next number is the sum of the previous 2 numbers. Anyway, so they used, it's found in nature and everything like that, and art and all that. They used that setup to blend these bottles, this batch.
Okay.
It can't get in PA because I already looked it up, but I want, just for my math brain, I want that. But so far as like other, like anything like else like coming up, I'm looking at, again, Breaking Bourbon has a release calendar. I'm just kind of looking at theirs, and
I feel like to properly answer that question, I'd have to do a little more research.
Yeah, I'm not as up. I'm trying to think of anything that's really coming out like locally.
22.
Well, there's
and the 5th generation.
I'm looking forward to Lucky Sign.
Ooh, yeah.
So they got their spot in Gibsonia, right?
Mm-hmm. So
they got a little bit bigger production area, a place to be able to like store barrels. So like I'm they have a bourbon and a rye, but they call it what it is. It's Card Shark Bourbon, Card Shark Rye. It's not theirs. It's sourced, right? I'm excited for their first release.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whenever that comes.
Right.
I'm excited for
I'm excited for the next lot from St. George.
Lot 22.
Lot
yeah.
22. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about that.
Rob had texted, I don't know if he texted our group or me, after the episode release, and I have to correct myself. The Lot 22 is not just a local one. He said it is widely available, but just not in PA yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
as far as we're concerned,
still can't get it.
Still can't get it.
But I don't really have any other I don't really have any other ones that I'm like, oh, I need to get, I can't wait for this to come out. You know what I mean?
Lot 22.
I've kind of fallen behind on the national bourbon, whatever. It just got too much.
I've definitely gotten wrapped up in local because there's so much good local around us to get excited about that I'm going to rely sometimes on other people to tell me about national, but I will be up on local and excited about local and excited to share about local. Unless it's something like St. George Spirits coming out with their next, because I will follow them into hell.
You know what's fun? I just thought of. So we recorded we recorded a couple episodes out of order, right? So the episode that's coming out after this one drops, we recorded already.
Right. We were ahead of the game, y'all.
And
4 years later, miracles happen.
And we actually we talk about Bottle and Bond with our guest Monica, but I think you got the date wrong. So it's just going to sound funny that we had a whole Bottle and Bond episode, and then the next one we're fumbling over, wait, what was that again? Yeah. So just so you know, it's recorded out of order.
I was all twisted up because I had in the back of my head, I was like, oh yeah, the Bottle and Bond that came out because distillers were unreliable and stuff during Prohibition and yada yada yada, and it was way before
First part of that was true.
Yeah. Distillers were unreliable. They were just unreliable way before Prohibition.
This next one isn't a Bottle and Bond.
No, but that's okay.
And you know what? Let's pause on that one because you have a little something. And I know, honestly, you know what? When I asked the question in the group, hey, we want to do some listener Q&A, give us some questions. I was expecting our Bogger buddies to be like, hey, where's the Pete? Because that's that's on their shirt and everything. Where's the Pete? So to appease our Bogger friends and to show how much we've grown together and as a show, as palette and everything like that.
As a couple.
As a couple. Zach has brought some goodies for us to try. So let's try this real quick, and then we'll jump into the last one. We'll toast with this last one.
So a couple weeks back, well, more than a couple weeks now, because we're already towards the back half of October. I can't believe that. Back around mid-September, my family and I went to the Highland Games out in PA. And like the good Scottish boy I am, who has learned to appreciate his Scottish roots and is slowly but surely coming around to a wee bit of the peat. That might have been more Irish than Scottish, but here we go. While I was at the Highland Games, I was obviously on the lookout for some whiskey-themed goods and was very excited to see that they had some Lafroig Islay single malt Scotch whiskey, handmade fudge. And it's fudge that is flavored with Lafroig single malt Scotch whiskey. And I am very excited about this. I haven't opened it until just now because I wanted it to be fresh to death for when John and I tried it. But I can tell you right now that even just cracking open the tub, each of these is wrapped individually.
Oh, cool.
Even cracking open the tub,
you just hit.
I took a whiff and I was like, there's the Lafroig.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited to try these. So John, buddy, help yourself to one, my friend. I'm glad we're trying this.
So
that's going to become my role in the show. I'm going to bring the whiskey candies.
The peat, and your Scottish. It made me think. I do have one other one that I think is available in PA. I'll look it up real quick for us. But that I do want to get my hands on, even though I haven't finished the previous year's thing. But the new edition of the Nick Offerman came out.
Yes, okay.
And it's
I'll
pull it on the computer so you can see.
I do want to get that.
It's the new Offerman is aged 11 years. It's the charred oak casks. So they took all these different casks, white oak, American white oak, European oak. All the barrels had. Well, this is where I'm confused. Like, I don't know if they made new barrels. A new barrel. I don't. This is the wording is confusing, but basically what they did is they took a used barrel, shaved it down, like got rid of all the old char, and then recharred it, and then stuck their 11-year-old whiskey in that to mature, and that's what this one is. It's a really cool looking. I mean, the box is beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
What's the?
You want me to check the other off?
What's the age on the Guinness one that I have? I forget.
11.
It's 11 as well. Okay. Ooh. Hi. It smells more like the church incense than. Ooh.
I'm not mad at that.
Oh, it's like eating a campfire. That's beautiful. Oh, that's really good.
That's like buttery scotch right there.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I'm not mad at that even a little bit. I'm going to be leaving a couple of these for you, buddy.
They're fun. So Boggers, there's the Pete.
We ate it today.
Mm-hmm. But we have one more we want to try, and it's really going to be kind of a final, not a final toast, but like final toast of the night. I think you and I will enjoy this more.
It's going to be a toast to the future.
This will be more of a enjoy this off after the mics are shut off. But last year I was, in PA, for our listeners not from PA, to get a BTAC, Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. It's lottery based. You put your name in and cross your fingers that you get chosen to be able to buy a bottle, not chosen to get a bottle.
It's like trying to buy an Xbox in 2021.
Yeah, or PS5. And so last year I was able to win one of the bottles, and it was the Thomas H. Handy Sazerac. Now, it's not a bottled and bond, but it's the 21 version of the Thomas H. Handy rye. So I haven't opened it yet, which people would probably be like, "What? You don't listen." 90% of my bottles are open. Leave me alone. This one I've been saving, and I just haven't found a good occasion. Like, yeah, let's open this up. Or like maybe we've had an idea of when we wanted to open up, and we just never got to it. But celebrating 4 years, even though it's not a bottle and bond, I think still it's a good way to do our final our toast at the end of the night, our cheers at the end of the night with a little bit of Thomas Handy. Plus, we need to end with this one because it is 129.5 proof.
Yes. All right, here's a way that's different from when we started to now. I read that 129 proof on that bottle. Mm-hmm. My first thought was, it's going to be good.
Yeah, 4 years ago, you would have been like, nope.
I would have been like,
that was the guy.
Mío.
That was the guy who was calling Buffalo Trace an active bourbon.
This is why I don't listen to any of the episodes.
90 proof.
It's an active bourbon. It's a little bit more, Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Was it good for you?
It's like cherries and
dark chocolate cherries?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the other bit I was missing. Yeah. Shut up. That's not 129 proof.
Hang on, I need to have some water because I've still got a little bit of fudge in my mouth. I want to make sure that what I'm tasting right now, what I'm tasting right now is, before I make any comments on the palate, let's cleanse it. Although I will tell you what, holy smokes, this pairs amazingly with that fudge.
Wow, that does not taste like a rye. It's a beautiful rye, but I wouldn't. 129 proof, straight rye whiskey. I was expecting a lot more.
I would have thought it was just a high proof bourbon, based on how smooth that is.
Oh, it's got that nice, like, oily, like that you expect out of a barrel proof. Oh,
that's a sipper for sure, but that's good. And it does not taste 129.
No.
I've had lower proof whiskeys that have been rougher than this.
That is a beautiful whiskey. So, once again, I want to thank you, the listener.
Thank
I
you,
want to
guys.
thank our executive producer, Aaron, all of our friends at PWF, all of our friends and future friends at all the local PA distilleries. I say local, but I when I say local, I mean PA made distillery. You know what I mean? Not just like within a radius here. Anyway, but all of
We're
our
not excluding any friends that we might be making out of Pennsylvania, but we got to give a shout out to our homies.
yeah. But just thank you to everyone who's supported, who's helped, who's listened, who's shared, who's commented, who's shown up at events. Just thank you to 4 years. Zach, thanks for sticking by all my craziness for 4 years.
John, thank you for being my project manager on the show, as in life, for the past 4 years, and dealing with my, can we do this on another night? For the last 4 years.
Here's to us getting back on a regular schedule
Yes,
again. Because here's what's happening, right? So this episode is dropping. The one with Monica is dropping first full week of December or November.
Mm-hmm.
Probably have one more drop after that,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's Advent season. Advent season.
Baby.
Advent calendar, man. It's just gonna get nuts. So here's
About to get
to getting back on a nice regular schedule and doing this more consistently. So on that note, Zachary, my brother, cheers to you.
John, my brother, cheers to you.
And
Cheers to Yins.